Oh, royal family, blessed love, give thanks for your presence with us. We glorify Emperor Haile Selassie the First. I'm just here to invite everyone to make sure that you are with us tonight for the Tiger's Nest radio program on Radio Anu, the international flavor, the universal spice. Priest Isaac Institute.com. Of course, you know that the link is in the description below. Now, tonight, what I wanted to do, I was listening to a radio program, a YouTube program, I should say, that some good brothers from the Hebrew Israelite group were doing. This is from Yonah Gola. And these brothers were trying to use our beautiful sister, our esteemed elder sister, Judy Mowatt, to basically push their agenda. Of course, we all know that Sister Judy Mowatt would have become a Christian. She would have chosen the faith of Christianity. And there was an interview that she did sometime with Marcia Griffith at her side, and she was explaining to the host, Sharon, how she, made that transition from what she considered the faith of Rasta into Christianity. But anyway, I was listening to the brothers of the Hebrew Israelite, and they were talking a lot of foolishness as it relates to Haile Selassie the First. And they went for Sister Moat to bring her into the picture. I mean, a clip of her to say that, listen, even she was with Bob Marley, the prophet of the Rastas, and even she left Rasta for Jesus. And these are Hebrew Israelites, eh? She didn't leave Rasta for Yeshua, she left Rasta for Jesus, and they're promoting that. But anyway, let us listen to what our esteemed elder has to say.
And I was going on a Sunsplash tour. I was on the Sunsplash tour, and it was my day off. I was sitting at the back of the bus with my cousin Anicia. Somebody had given me a cassette with His Imperial Majesty, an interview with His Majesty. And I decided on the day off, there was a cassette player at the back of the bus. So I just slipped the cassette in and was listening. And one part in particular where the interviewer said, Your Majesty, why is it that people said that you are the returned Messiah? And he answered with his interpreter, and he answered and said, I am a mere man, and I will be replaced by the oncoming generation. And a human being should not be emulated for a deity. Mean a human being should not be seen. I am a human being. Don't see me as a deity. God. Don't see me as a god. And I looked at my cousin. I said, Anis, you hear that? She didn't answer. But I think we were frightened in ourselves because all these years
you'd never heard that message
we
before.
were worshiping this man, and we never heard that before.
And you see, family, give thanks again for our beautiful sister, and of course, even her openness. But the Hebrew Israelite brothers now, again, tonight I'm going to be giving you a bit of the program that they did, and even utilizing even this clip to prove or to try to put proof to their point. And again, listen, family, with all respect to the good sister, now, number one, she quoted the interview a bit wrong. You know that. The words she said that Haile Selassie said, those are not the exact words. But I'm not trying to play semantics here. In fact, the whole theory of what she's expressing, the whole idea of a human being not being a quote-unquote God, that is the idea you get from the speech. So I'm not going to play with it at all. But at the same time, I do not play with the reality when it comes to Haile Selassie the First. So if we're going to say something, we have to be on point here. So tonight in the Tiger's Nest, we're going to take time to look into, the comments of our good sister Judy Mowatt. We always full joy her beautiful voice and her expression. And we're also going to bring out the Hebrew Israelite brothers. What's the name? Yonah Golab. Well, we're going to speak of Yonah Golab and the crew there and exactly what they are trying to highlight as it relates to Emperor Haile Selassie the First. Now, again, you see what is going on here. I have heard of that idea. I have also spoke with certain Rastafarians, and I plainly told them, I am a man, I am mortal, and I will be replaced by the oncoming generation. And they should never make a mistake of pretending that a human being can be emanated from a deity. That was the response of the emperor for the response of the emperor for the question, which wasn't really a question, but a statement from Bill McNeil. Your Majesty, there are millions of Christians all around the world who consider you to be the reincarnation of Jesus Christ. That's what he said. Millions of Christians all around the world that consider you the reincarnation of Jesus Christ. And let me say this, the response that the emperor gave, I'm not going to go too deep now. I would have gone deep many times with this. But tonight on the Tiger's Nest, make sure you're with us and we will go deeper. But let me say this, the response that the emperor gave to his comment, the only reason why many of us get offended to that, and many of us who are in the culture of Rastafari quickly drop it for the religion of Jesus Christ, is because somewhere in our mind, we have not woken up to the reality up to now of the true concept of quote unquote God. That's all. So we still, even though we're saying Rasta, even though we're saying Selassie, we still have this fairy tale concept of the so-called God. And this is the problem. This is why I am not ashamed or afraid to tell anybody I'm not equating God to Haile Selassie. When you say Haile Selassie is God, I mean, we may just say so because we talk in the language, you know. But in deeper conversation, when you say Haile Selassie is God, the word is becomes an equal sign. Haile Selassie equal God. So when you say that, is God you're giving props, you know? You're giving God props. You're giving this concept of God that everybody leans on. You're giving it props by making God Haile Selassie. Haile Selassie is Haile Selassie. Let me tell you this now, straight up. And when we reach to the point that as conscious ones, we can respect Negus and Agas, the King of Kings, just for who he is. We don't have to add no salt and pepper. We don't have to try to put too many things in the pot that don't need to be in the pot. Haile Selassie is Haile Selassie. You see, the problem is, many of us, we turn Haile Selassie into Jesus Christ. So we are, is Jesus Christ we really worshiping you? And we're trying to find out who is Jesus Christ. And we come across Haile Selassie and we make Haile Selassie Jesus Christ. So when Haile Selassie appears not to have the quality of Jesus Christ, many of us, we get disappointed and turn our back on the culture that would have saved our soul. The same thing with the God business. That's why I'm not afraid or ashamed to tell you Haile Selassie. Listen, I remember a time a brethren of mine tell me, listen, Haile Selassie higher than God. And I at the time, I couldn't even stomach that. And I was a Rasta man, you know, saying Selassie high, but when he said Haile Selassie higher than God, I couldn't pick it up. Like, what? What are you talking about? And I personally have come now to the point where I can tell you Haile Selassie is the highest. Now, if you're trying to say Haile Selassie is God, I understand what you're trying to say. And I would agree with your rationale. But if we're going to be specific and we're going to get technical and we start to break down the term God and where it comes from and everything, listen, I can do without all of that. Haile Selassie is Haile Selassie. You don't have to say he's the Lord, the Almighty, the Most High. It's all right. Whether you say it or say it not, that don't change the reality of who Emperor Haile Selassie I is. This is why we do all them programs here. Listen to the program we did yesterday on the Orion constellation. Watch them levels there. When you understand the cosmics and how it relates to reality and history and personalities and individuals, for example, Haile Selassie I, the divine. When you have that mind frame, when we get out of that religious, spooky, dead, come back alive, walk to the wall, walk on water, 2 fish and 5 bread, and everybody get feed and belch and how much rubbish back to throw away. When we get away from that foolishness, we have a better understanding of the God concept, just to use the term God. So when we realize that Haile Selassie now, you see what we would have done? We would have taken Haile Selassie and tried to see if he can live up to the standard of Jesus Christ in the Bible. So when Haile Selassie appears to live up to the Jesus Christ standard, we say, okay, yes, we give him a pass. Jesus Christ don't have to live up to Haile Selassie standard. We put Haile Selassie on tested. Yeah, he is the one that is being tested here to see if he can live up to the standard of God. I'm telling you, you got to be careful. Remember, we knew God before we knew Haile Selassie. I want you to understand me. We always heard about this God, the powerful, the earth shake, the thunder. Remember when thunder roll is God tap dancing, and when the lightning flashes, God taking a picture, and when the rain is coming, is God crying. You see, just like the cave people, when the sun set, God dead and gone away and all of that. That's how we were taught. Well, how we were taught to think about the Almighty God. So now, when Haile Selassie come into the picture, subconsciously, even unawares to ourselves, we took Haile Selassie, we opened the books, we read his history, and we said, can this man compare to the God? So when was he born? We read the Bible, we try to put it together to see if this man can live up to the standard of the God. So this is why now, those of us who, according to the reality within us, we accepted Haile Selassie. And we held on to the Haile Selassie theology. And then one good day, somebody just came out of the blue and said, hey, Haile Selassie had a mother, didn't he? Yeah. Haile Selassie had a father, didn't he? Yeah. Well, if Haile Selassie had a mother and father, how could he be God? I never thought of that, you see? It's the same thing with Sister Judy Mowatt, no disrespect. She listened to that cassette and she changed her mind. But if somebody came to her with one of those questions, those hard questions, she would have changed her mind long time. So Haile Selassie I, did he make it rain? That's a good question. So who rose the sun? No, this is why, for example, I would be around Rastas and I would tell Rastas, hey, listen, Haile Selassie never died. And then a Ras would tell me, of course, you're correct. I mean, how God going to die? If God died, how the sun is going to rise? Them mentality. No. Hold on. Don't go too far. Take it easy. I'm not talking about going off of the wall now with some kind of fairy tale thinking. If God died, I mean, who gonna send the rain? No, that's not what I talk about. No, I'm saying to you that Emperor Haile Selassie I, as a physical human being, is not even the oldest person on the planet. That's what I'm showing you. That's all I'm saying. I don't want to go too far now and get real ridiculous in our way of thinking. And you see, that is the problem. Even many of us as races, we still holding on. We are Jesus races. Many of us are Jesus races. So when somebody come and give you some kind of like a portion and say, but look, Haile Selassie. Some of us still fall for the trick, but Haile Selassie, look, Haile Selassie, he was here and he wasn't over there. That means he's not omnipresent. And some of us literally say, wow, I never thought of that. So if Haile Selassie was over there and he wasn't over here and he wasn't omnipresent, wow, I must be in the wrong religion. Let me go and join Christianity. So you're going to leave Haile Selassie for Michelangelo's uncle. Anybody, I don't care who they are, that say that they are of the Rastafari culture, and they're going to drop it, you know, not to say they're keeping the culture, but they kind of have a different philosophy. They drop the culture, put it on the ground, and then walk into the horror house of the enslaver, Jesus Christ. Something seriously wrong with them. No matter who it is. And then you have some Hebrew Israelite brothers who we're going to deal with this evening, who is using this as an example. Because Sister Mowatt obviously would have been with Brother Bob Marley in the music industry as a member of the I Trees. You understand? And this is why we have to, those of us who are Rastafari, we have to release the romantic grip that we have on Bob Marley and the reggae music industry. I'm being very serious here because I see people trying to beat down this stuff now as if they're beating me down. Rastafari, you ain't doing nothing to me. When you come and say, well, reggae music lead us astray, that you are correct. You better believe it. I know some of you don't agree with that. That's your business. But I know for a fact, we would have already done them programs here. You think Rastafari as a movement was not infiltrated? It is impossible for this, which is the movement that saves souls, not to be infiltrated by J. Edgar Hoover. You forget they were looking for the rise of a black messiah. Well, reggae music, enough people come to Rasta through reggae music. Whoever said that's not so? Me, a burning spear, garnet silk. What are you talking about? Who love more Gregory Isaac than myself? I mean, that's not the point. You see, we too romantic. We like to romanticize. And we afraid of the truth. Even when the Hebrew Israelites jump on us and say, and the reggae music, it draw you away from the true worship of God. They're correct. What is this? Elijah Muhammad in the 50s told the Nation of Islam that they should stop listening to jazz and blues. The blues, man, come on, the blues. The blues. I'm so sad today, the blues. So this is deep stuff. This is why we need a deeper level of thinking. And this is why your brother always comes. Sometimes you see me pick up on these little things and I jump on it. Some of you say, oh, come on, Reese, you can leave that subject alone. Maybe for you. But there's some, no offense to anyone, but there's some simple minds out there. If I do not come and go for that same cassette that Sister Judy was talking about, I've done at least 2 or 3 programs on the YouTube on that specific subject. I literally run the speech so everyone could hear, and then I speak about it because there are several videos on the YouTube, you know, where people take that little speech for the king. Some people don't even comment on it. They just play it. And they believe just playing that alone should change every person on the planet from being a Rastafari. Because it's just clear what Haile Selassie said. But again, that's why I have to do programs on that. Because many ones, the mind frame is so simple that they would be saying Rasta today. And they hear that little speech where the king say, I shall be replaced by the oncoming generation. They drop off the bed and say, I can't believe this. What have I been doing? And they're gonna chop off the locks. Come on. Maybe you need to chop off your locks for you and come again. Your head wasn't in it at all. Nothing the king said was wrong. But if you are religious, I am mortal. So what's wrong with saying I'm a mortal? Wait, what does mortality mean? Well, the Bible says the King of Kings, only him hath immortality. And there you go again. When Haile Selassie was on the battlefield, you ever watch the video when the lady was saying when he was in England and he was listening to the radiogram and he was crying because of the war. And she said she observed his hands and his hands had some massive dents because he was damaged by the mustard gas in the war. That's what you call mortality. You get cut, you bleed, that's a mortal there. We're too religious. We're too superstitious. Yeah, too much misinformation when it comes to the belief world. And this is why we will always go down this sort of path. So yes, family, I am encouraging everyone. Just join me tonight on the Tiger's Nest. We're going to go deeper into this reasoning. This is the sort of reasoning many people want, many people need. Yeah, it's good to go for the facts. It's good to open the Bible. It's good to talk about the stars. It's good to say this, that, and the third, and how much mystery and how much allegory and go on and history and this man and that man. But when it comes to the simple understanding of things, you know, many of us, we have knowledge and the understanding is lacking. And we think too simple. And because of this simple level of thinking, anybody can just come to us and just talk any old thing. Haile Selassie had a mother, you know, as if you didn't know that. So you never, no, I know some Rastas that tell me that, or was Rastas that tell me, hey, I used to be a Rasta man too, you know, okay. And then one day I realized that weird. Haile Selassie have a mother and a father like me. And I just leave Haile Selassie and went to Jesus Christ. But Jesus have a mother. Yeah, but he didn't have a father. But what about Melchizedek? He didn't have neither mother nor father. So maybe he greater than Jesus. Wow, that's a good point. I mean, come on, man. And this is why, you know, family, this is why we do these programs here. So we can get to the mind of those who are really seeking the truth and nourish your thinking. You know, I like people that think rationally. I despise this way out religious, dogmatic belief way of looking at things. It's actually sickening, you know, in this moment and in this time. So that's why when I see people trying to trouble Rastafari and trying to get into the doctrine with these simple accusations, and what's worse, some of us literally fall for it and follow these people and then have the nerve to come back around and say, yes, I was once Rastafari, but I'm not that anymore, and them kind of thing. Simple thinking. So that is why we busting out of the simple, crushing the simple thinking business, so that we don't fall into the trap like our good beloved elder sister Judy Mowatt and all the others who say they left Rasta. And that's another thing. That's another thing. I don't want to disrespect no one, but when you see you leave Rastafari, you have to wonder if you were ever really Rastafari. Because as I said, many of us are literally covering Jesus Christ over as Rastafari. And many of us, which most of us did, we literally took God, the God that we knew and still didn't know. God, we don't know him or know her. We don't even know what it is. But yet still we took all of the high criteria that this invisible God has. And we brought Haile Selassie next to it and we start to tick off, yes, yes, yes. I come to the conclusion now, Haile Selassie is God. That's so. I understand what you're saying and I can roll with you. But when I look into it deeper, Haile Selassie bigger than God. Now I know, as always, I will lose some friends for saying that, which I really don't care, because Haile Selassie is my best friend. Yes, Tiger's Nest family, give thanks to the life giver and the keeper of life, and give thanks for your presence. The link is in the description below. Just press it and join us on Radio Hand. Most eyes, last year, Jah, Rastafari, blessed love.